Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to see you for this very cool panel about the growth formula 2026 for Scalable ROI. So I'm here and present myself firstly. So I'm Victoria, CEO of VLX Motion Lab. And so we are a company to provide actually the creative arts development for the games about more than 10 years. And yeah, so we have really a big deal to talk about the big formula in 2026. So I want to ask everybody here to present yourself and little bit, one presentation about the company or what you're doing. So please, Sri, started this our panel.
Yes, thanks, Victoria. Hey, I'm Sri Lakshmi, General Manager of Razer India. So Razer is a DSP that combines user acquisition, retention, CTV, and influencer into one intelligent platform. Not speaking too much about it right now. We will keep hearing it through the webinar, and I'm super excited to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sri. So next one, Casper.
Hi everyone. Thank you for joining this panel. So I'm Casper, Partnership Manager from Playo. So Playo is a South Korea-based mobile gaming platform and marketing solution provider, which we have offices in Korea and Japan. So just a brief introduction of Playo. We focus, in bridging the gap between mobile game developers and also gamers through our data-driven UA and also engagement strategies, such as playtime-based rewards and also multi-event rewards. So now we are working with more than 400 game studios, and we have markets in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Macau, Hong Kong, and United States. So looking forward in sharing more with you later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Casper. You're so detailed. Okay, next one, Pankaj.
Hi, thanks, Victoria. Thanks, everyone. Glad to be a part of this panel. I think I will have a lot of learning from you guys. So I'm from Social Beta. We are an ad intelligence platform existing for last 10 years. We have been partnered with many games and apps worldwide. We are more focused towards the creatives. The creative strategies have been taking place, have been keep on evolving by the time. So I can share what we have learned in the recent past, and I'm open to learn from you guys as well. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, we are open for your knowledges and your experience actually too. Okay, so the last one, our speaker is Banu.
Hello all, nice to be here. Nice to be a part of this panel. My name is Banu. I'm a CEO of a game studio, Ikan Asin Production in Indonesia. So this last 5 years, we have been doing organic, specialized in organic in our games. But these 2 years, we have, at least 1 year, we have cooperate with the publisher. And then we kind of built like this hybrid organic ad acquisition thing going on right now, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Banu. Thank you. We're excited to be here too. I'm excited to be moderator of this kind of such a panel. So the first one, so the question is for the everyone. So to kick these things off, we are clearly moving into a more competitive and complex environment where growth is no longer just about scaling budgets, but about efficiency and sustainability. So I would love to hear from you, of each of you, what is one of major shift in game growth or user acquisition heading into 2026, and how it's changing the way you approach strategy. So feel free to share some kind of specific examples or experience or cases to illustrate this shift. So please do it. So who wants to be the first, guys? Who wants to be the first?
Well, I can go first.
Okay, thank you very much, Sri.
Awesome.
Go forward.
Yes, thanks, Victoria. I think it's a very interesting question, right? And at Razer, we keep talking about this shift pretty often. And I think one thing that we've noticed is, for years, user acquisition and retention have literally lived in two separate spaces, right? They're very siloed, they don't work together. UA drove installs and retention tried to keep them. And in my honest opinion, that model is now broken, right? Because as data suggests, 95% of the users churn on day zero. 12% of the UA costs have rose year on year, and it's only added to 2% of the user growth, right? We're spending more and more time to acquire the already churned user. So the shift that we are doing at Razer is we are trying to build the user acquisition and the retention, a part of the same flywheel, right? We optimize campaigns not towards the installs, but towards the early engagement signals. So the retention starts right from there. And we align our creative, our bidding models, our everything towards payer propensity. And we don't use retention as just as a growth wheel. We use it as a compounding tool to help the impact, right? So for example, I think the report and the white paper also shows this, that the teams where the user acquisition and the retention teams work together, or when you have a campaign that runs both UA and retargeting, the result is massive. Your LTV increases by 20%. And that is not a marginal shift. That's actually a big impact on the growth itself. So that is one thing that we are seeing as a shift in 2026 when we speak about how the whole user acquisition and the retention game is changing.
Okay, thank you very much, Sri, who will be the next one. So we are free to talk about this. This is a very nice question. Yeah, I really agree with you about this kind of shift.
Yeah.
So maybe Casper or Pankaj, yeah, please go for it.
So thank you, Sri, for breaking the ice. I mean, I could not agree more. Previously, I mean, like a couple of years ago, when I was also very new to this industry, and it happens with a lot of indie developers, then they come across this industry like gaming is booming, so we must also try from non-gaming to gaming and trying some like tactics which are already been adopted by the non-gaming apps, but they do not work here. I mean, the reason is because the audience is different, the UA is really different. Lot of people that I know, we have been like multiple conversations based on this, that we have been spending a lot, but all of it is burning, and we don't know like how to basically get the basic numbers in the UA. So the biggest challenge is, I mean, the any category that you work on, it is already been worked for so long. I mean, you are not doing anything different or something very new unless you are trying like very very big hardcore games which are taking like 2-3 years in development, and probably you see a different life cycle. We are talking about majorly those games, those apps who gets published, and the developer side, they're actually looking for some positive ROIs within couple of months, maybe less than that. Not just the creatives, but they are trying to reiterate the same number of game versions in a month, just trying out what is working well. So what is really different in not just 2026, maybe the last two that we have been observing, that some new categories people are into. The new categories who are fueled by the curiosity. If I name one, I mean, that's not the only one, but maybe quiz is something that can indulge in both. Maybe the learning apps for kids, for example, in non-gaming, we can use our own development experience coming into gaming and have the relevant or the more customized UA perspectives to it. So this is a one shift that we have been observing, that a lot of newcomers who are coming here. But we can exactly learn. Maybe we can see the trends the others have been following. The trends, we are not talking about something that really worked in the like maybe the H1 or H2 of last year. In this world, like in this competing world, maybe we are fighting with the trends. We actually worked in a go. Maybe something really worked well for someone else last week may not rework for them as well. So trends are keep on changing. Games are like not geo bound apps. We can actually target the global audiences with many of the games. So have the regional elements along with the right set of CTAs may work. So maybe we can hear what Casper and the other team members would like to say. So this is my call. I mean, if we have any questions, maybe we can discuss further.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, you have a lot of experience of that. I see. Yeah. So I don't have any comments. I want to listen to someone else. So thank you very much, Pankaj. So this your expertise of this question. I see you have a lot of work to do. This, a lot of experiments make it. Okay, so maybe Casper.
Yeah, I can go next. And yeah, thank you for the insights, from Sri and also Pankai. I think we totally agree with the challenges now and everything. So actually from players' perspective, one of the biggest shift I think heading in 2026 will be, moving from acquiring users to actually to predict the growth of the user value. So like in the past, maybe user as
Is everybody have some kind of
effective.
good
So
good
actually,
signal?
because like CPI are advertisers actually are targeting the same pool of proven users. So growth is no longer how much we spend, but it's like I feel like in players' perspective, like how efficient you can identify and also develop these pool of valuable users. So I think for now, what we should ask, what we should not ask is actually like who is the already high value users, but what we should actually ask and find the answer is like who has the potential, which user has the potential and to become a high value user and at what moment. So because I think in reality, this user value is actually not fixed, and then it's actually evolves, rapidly and continuously based on like the user's experience, the context, and also timing. Yeah, so that's why I will be covering later on also like Playo actually has this strategy for dynamic LTV. So actually we actually evaluate user behavior in real time and also rely on static instead of relying on static historical data. So yeah, so for this strategy, I feel that it's important in 2026 because we know we need to find out like what type of games these users prefer, and then what actually engage these players, different genres, and also when they are most likely to spend or watch ads. Yeah, so I think based on like last campaign that we actually tried this strategy, we can actually see a very significant improvement in terms of volume, the scale, and also in terms of by understanding these users behavior more deeply with dynamic LTV, I think we can reposition them as future high value users.
Yeah, thank you
That's
very
all from
much.
my side.
Yeah, thank you very much, Casper. Yeah, I'm thinking about like what you're saying right now, and I have one question. Do you think so our user base changes start from 2022 and 2026? What do you think?
Sorry, how the users change
Yeah.
from
Do
2000.
you think yes, our user is changing? Yeah.
I think like from our first party data from Playo, I think that users actually their behavior, what they like, and their spending power actually changes because the economy is changing, the type of games and also changing also. So I think monitoring the real time users behavior are actually very important now, for a lot of like game developers who really wants to optimize their cost spending and also their performance.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, and one more, Banu.
Okay,
Tell
yeah.
me about your
Okay.
experience about this kind of shit.
So, in the last year, what we experienced is not just a shift, but shifts. So, a lot of shifts. So, at the start, like I told you, we rely mainly on organic acquisition, and then we found out that it's not working anymore, and then we shift. We cooperate with the publisher to do ad marketing, ad acquisition for our games. And then we found out that the CPI, global CPI, is rising also. And then we found out now that we have to combine our skills, me and the publisher, to create this hybrid environment where it is one system from the ads to the game to the retention itself, down to the community. So one thing is, it is a shift from the deterministic ad. So you in the past, you can like snipe your audience, like you detect this is the user that I can target. So this but right now you cannot do that because there is a lot of privacy policy in the games. So what we do is we broadcast a lot of content, we just throw a net with 10, maybe 20, 50 ads, and then see what clicks with our audience, and then we work from that. This is actually a funny story, so I want to share my this is the idea comes from the drama. There's a lot of K drama, Chinese drama. The CEO, the janitor is the CEO, the kind of thing. So uh, we discover that this is the new thing. This a new thing, and it works, and everybody's doing watching it. Even though a lot of it obviously is AI generated. So there is something in it, and when what we found out is it shift our paradigm. So we change our mind of ads being an ads to an ad being the first chapter or chapter zero, like prologue of the game itself. So like the ad right now is a part of the game. So that smooth out the engagement, like the funnel, because when the user watch the ad, they are already invested in the game. They are already invested in the story. Like they already think that they are engaged in the story, the narrative, and it smooth out the transition between the ads and the install itself. So yeah, that's basically what we are doing right now. And also to combat the CPI rising, so what we do is we targeted communities. So we stop thinking about one install is equal to one install, but one install should come to their communities. So we engage the communities. We focus on like user generated contents. We engage with our audience. So basically, the play is how can we convert that one install, and how so that they can speak about our game, our ad, to their communities. So basically, that's our experience on that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's I'm a little bit, deeper from your conversation, a little bit thinking about it, like how, it's really, for my side. So for our side, like, like a studio, yes, we had a lot of, like experience, like, in the back, like more than like 10 years. And what I see, so installs are no longer the main KPI. So the focus right now is now in LTV or retention or and monetization quality. So and that's why, so we win by getting the right users and keeping them longer. It's not, you don't win to getting more users, and so this is something, competition moved from the media buying to creative plus product experience. So, and actually we have the right now we have the period of time that AI actually coming, yes, in our industry. And what we're seeing, so we should making some kind of machine, some kind of production, very nice system that you have at the end. You have like we have some kind of very complex result from like nice creatives, like find the best one, scale it, and then media buying, and then like user acquisition making, and then you have rotation, etc. So you should find the way how to build the system and of that, and then you have the results. So it's not like you just find the best creatives and then you scale it. No. So you should find a system how to do it, and how to be like in the same time stability. Yeah, this is the main question is of 2026. That's my opinion. Yeah. So new strategy, it's more than LTV first. Yeah. And then the next, so monetization and etc. So, and mostly it's about the retention. So it's not working for the for the UI. Yes, it's more working for the rotation right now and for the LCV. This is my this is my background about this. Okay, so we are going to the next. We have a very nice question for Shri. So your report with social beta shows that 95% of users churn within the first 30 days, making rotation a key metric. From your experience, Shri, what day zero onboarding or early engagement tactics work best to improve retention? And how can structured creative refresh cycle by used to keep campaign performance stable?
Got it. Great question, and amazing answers in general for the previous question also. So I'm just going to take some insights from both Casper and Banu on that. And just like how I mentioned in the previous question, 95% of users churn on day zero, and that's huge, right? And according to Razer, the retention battle starts from day zero and not day 30, because you retain the user even before the user starts using your app, right? That is how important your retention is, because you like it or not, with technology increasing, with the amount of mobile phones and with the amount of apps there is always an alternate for any user to go anywhere else. So it's super important to retain the user that we have, right? So on that note, according to me, there are like 3 top things that a marketer can do to make sure they don't lose their loyal users to competition. So firstly, I think any marketer, right? Any marketer needs to show the user the value even before their first purchase and not after. Technically, usually what happens is a marketer's mindset is to get the money in and then show the value. But by then, the user is already churning, because remember, 95% is a huge number, and that's a big wake-up call. So you need to have some kind of a gratification moment within 15 minutes of user actually using the app. And just like what Banu said, right? Somebody who's actually seeing an ad, he's already engrossed. So you need to figure out what is that loop that will tie in that user within the first 15 minutes. That's a very crucial time frame. And second, for strategy games specifically, right? On the fun tabs, if you look at the report on the fun tabs, the data is quite telling. So what it says is any user who joins an alliance within day third has a 3x to 4x time retention on D7 than a user who's playing on Xylo. So social integration is not good to have. It is actually a retention tactic, right? So it is super important for any strategy game or even other ways to actually use social integrations as one of the retention tactics. And third is what we call the 10-hour rule, right? So a user, if he's able to get in 600 minutes of playtime within the first week, we've seen the propensity of that user to convert into a paying user 5x more than a user who doesn't, right? So that is why at Razer, we believe that it is super important to start your retargeting game early on, because the faster the user gets to the 600 minutes, the higher the chance of that user actually paying inside your app. And the higher the chance, like for example, like Banu does for his app, right? The amount of things that marketers do to kind of retain those users then kicks in, right? Now on creative refresh cycle, I think that was your next question. In my honest opinion, I think that's where most of the teams drop the ball. What we've seen is a 45% drop in CTR if a user is shown an ad more than 4 times, the same ad more than 4 times, right? 45% drop, and that's huge and massive. And the hack or the solution here is not to produce the same creators over and over again, but to have a structured production cycle for your creators before your performance drops. And we have seen a 30% more stability in performance on teams who act on this early than a team who waits to see how the performance is and then do a creative refresh. And this is a very common problem across, right?
Right.
Yes. And all being said, I think creative is one very controllable lever that any marketer has, right? Which can drive performance for you. Anything else, your platform, your users, they're all lesser predictable, right? And like you said, Victoria, you have AI, you have so much that has come in right now to make the creative production process a lot more faster. So you can use UGCs, you can use AI, you can use playables, and leverage most of the creatives that you have to make sure that your users do not face that fatigue, right? Now, having said that, Victoria, I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Unless you
Do it.
have any questions on my conversation earlier, but I have a very
Okay.
interesting question for you, because we don't see that side, right? We see the DSP part and we see the Razor part. So at Razor, what we have observed, and like I told you, is the creatives have now gone beyond being a supporting element for any marketer to drive performance to become the most single controllable element to drive performance. And that's huge, right? So
Yeah, right.
with you sitting on that side and working very closely with gaming studios, what, according to you, is the biggest mindset shift that each of these teams need to have? And practically, what is the balance that they need to have between the production fastness and the quality of production? Because that's a big question too.
So according to the period of the time, like the 2022 till that time, yeah. So we have a crisis, in a lot of industries. So the crisis in IT industry and the crisis in the game, yes, and and we have a lot of some kind of conflicts, around the world. So this kind of factors is very influence to the users. So actually for the people, yeah. So our users is normal people, yeah. We have a job, we have kids, have family, etc. And we saw it, and we saw how the budget is cutting the budget and etc. But this is not like the main point. This is actually that's normal way. So we have a crisis, and then we grow up, and then we have to find the middle space. Yes. So right now we should make it grow up. But how to do it like in 2026? This is the main question. Yeah. From my opinion, according to our experience, so you should creative, as I said before, you should make some kind of system of the production creatives. Yes, it's not only to make some video. So it's not only like playable or UGC, or for example you think about, okay, so we just make the creative production and only base, for example, with AI tools, but it's not working. So you should make it a lot of sizes. Yes, you should make it scalable. Yet you should have this kind of files that you can use it and to make some kind of changes. Sometimes it's AI is help you, sometimes it's not, but mostly not. So this is an instrument. AI, it's not like, yes, you can do it like faster, but it's not according to the AI still. So this is still you should have the team, you should have the strategy, you should have the feedback from the client, from the the studios who provide this data. And then you make a conversation, you have teamwork, etc. So what I want to say right now, so creative is no longer an asset. It's a system that drives ROI. This is what I want to say. So you should find how you can do more with the more quality inside. This is the main. You should find the middle to space. You are not everybody wants to know to find this kind of blue, blue fish, yeah. So this is the main point. When I was here at the conference, like in London, so everybody say about, yes, we want to find the idea with this growth, and we want to make the, so we want to start with some kind of hypothesis, yes, to test it, and then to understand, so is it make sense or not make sense, or we need to shift it, and make one more and more, 100, and etc. So this kind of period of time, 2022 till 2026. So what we see, what we saw. So right now it's you have never know. So mostly, like the sustainability right now, it's corporation. So this is a big titles, the big games, big comparison in China, United States, in other countries. Yes. Who can spend, not in like, it's not about only the budget, who can spend to create the team, firstly, the production team, the user acquisition team, and etc. And then who can make more, like more production, more quality for one day. So for example, one company can make like 100, So, and the percent of success, it's much more than other studios, yes. What about what about the indie? How to indie survive in this case? Yeah, this is the main question. How to indie survive? How to indie to make some kind of production in this case? And that's why we have some kind of, sometimes we can find this kind of blue fish. So this is the indie market, and indie market have not so much budget to spend. It cannot, like spend for the production. It's mostly the experiment. So, and the next one, you should make the experiment. Yeah, experiment. So make this kind of, like video creatives or playable ads, and then you can have the data and make the experiments, and you can scale it, and then you have the result, and then again. So it's not like you find the best one, like 10, yes, and then you scale it, and then like waiting. You're waiting for results, waiting. No, it should be the process, then you can stop. So you're not like make some changes and then stop. Okay, so this is my success, this is the goal, thank you very much, go ahead. No, it's not working for these kind of days. Yeah, that's because we have the corporation, like big fish, and they have like small fish, like indie games, like indie, like environments, and everybody wants to be on the same wave. Yes, everybody wants to find this kind of fish. So this is the main point. So testing velocity, but success doesn't mean like not perfection. Yeah, it's okay. Making more, find your build the structure, build the system inside, or to ask some kind of outsource studio to help you with kind of production stage that you want, and testing and have the results, and testing and have the results, and testing, and every time it should be like a process, and continue, and then you have like in this kind of machine, and then you have results. Yes, and you don't need to wait some kind of like big deal for this. This is what I want to say.
Yeah, I mean,
so I guess right now it's a little bit more point for this stage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting, Victoria. I think 2 points that you did stress on is quality over quantity. It made a lot of sense, right? And experiment and data. I think that's something that people really miss, the data of how each creative is performing. And like what Casper said, your user dynamics is changing year on year. I think from 2022 to 2026, the same concept, the same things are not going to work. So thank you so much, Victoria. I think that was super insightful.
Yeah, but thank you very much for this kind of question. So in the end, what I said, so AI, it's not like right now, it's not like the main instrument. So we have AI, we can do this, but you can you still need it. You still need this kind of files that you can to make some sites and etc. and make some changes. But with AI, you should like start from the beginning. Yes, you should make this kind of creatives from the beginning, and every time it spend the time. Everybody say slow. No, it's more faster. No, it's not faster. Sometimes it's not faster. Sometimes it's like, for example, your artist drawing like by the hand for 15 minutes, but for example, you generated assets for 1 hour. So what is This is the question. So you should find this kind of, like production stage. You should testing, experiments making, and then you have, like maybe some kind of period of time. You are growing, and you have a very nice system to create more and to create value creatives or value playable ads or UGC, etc. It's about not channel, it's not about the Meta or Instagram or TikTok, etc. It's about the system growing right now. Yeah,
100% agree.
Thank you very much for this kind of question. So next one, I want to ask the Casper. So as the market becomes more competitive, we are seeing a clear shift from short-term acquisition metrics to long value. Playo has recently introduced the concept of dynamic LTV and have seen remarkable outcome. From your perspective, Casper, how can developers leverage engagement-driven channels alongside dynamic LTV to achieve more sustainable and scalable growth?
Yeah, all right. Thank you for the question. And yeah, thank you for sharing, Shri and also Victoria, because I totally agree that, like ultimately all the, money that we invested in, we all want like good campaign marketing performance. Yeah. So, and also another thing that is very important in this growing market, I think is also the LTV, the lifetime value has become like a key metric for success also, right? So like, so comparing to like last time, the conventional LTV model actually assume like the user behavior remains constant over time or like consistent over time, and also like using like past patterns to predict future value. But I think like, as I mentioned also, like, nowadays, as years pass, the mobile gamers behavior change constantly, depending on their experience and also the context. So yeah, so actually like for Playo part, we have this Playo dynamic LTV, which actually we define like users not as fixed quality tiers, but as evolving states, which is a very important model, I feel. So this actually so Playo actually used like extensive user behavior data to actually introduce this strategy. Yeah. So first of all, Playo actually have a wide range of first party data because we have our own users, and we know all these users' behavior. So we know like which game the gamers prefer. We know how much they spend across different genres, how much they are engaged in different kind of like advertisement. So this data is not just limited to the campaigns that are running on our Playo application, but span across the user activity across like all the games in Google Play Store. So by leveraging this data set, we can actually analyze and also get some user behavior, and it's more accurate to predict these kind of like users, like what they are more likely to do next, what do they like next. Yeah. So yeah, so for this dynamic LTV strategy, I think it comes to like a few benefits. So the first benefit I want to share is like the installs, the volume optimization. So like, for example, a campaign previously, maybe doing some very strict and effective targeting to a specific group of users, we might get a certain number of installs per day for, let's say, 50. But using analyzing the in-app behavior patterns and also identifying these users' hidden interests for the next games, the next genre, we actually can get like more installs, more volume compared to when using the traditional targeting methods. Yeah. And then the second benefits I would want to share from by using dynamic LTV is also the revenue optimization. So we actually see like increasing revenue by applying dynamic LTV. So as mentioned, we analyze the users' purchase behavior over the past 90 days, for example, and then we also identify those with a highest payment potential. So it's all about the user's potential. Yeah. So these actually lead to like the initial ROAS increment, which just now Shri actually shared that early conversion is very important also. Yeah. So ultimately shifting the marketing perspective, I think from simply finding proven users the old users, the history, but we actually want to discover users' hidden potential through this first party data from Playo. Yeah, so I think through Playo, game developers can actually address and then address the long-standing trade-off between the volume and also the profitability. Yeah, because if you want to apply more stricter and effective quality targets, the volume might be affected. But with dynamic LTV, we are predicting more users future actions and their interest. We can actually try to increase the scale and also the ROS, the profitability. Yeah. So I think for now, right, we are not actually identifying like which one is the good user from the start, but we want to know like which users are high value, has a high value, and also which users are more likely have the potential to contribute, to the performance. Yeah. So my last sentence for this one will be to try to begin to see users not as fixed values, but also in like an evolving state. Want to see their true growth and also opportunities will emerge over time.
Oh, thank you very much, Casper. This is very interesting. I mean, actually, from my side too, I think for our audience, for our speakers too. So I have one more question for you. So how much you use AI tools in data?
Definitely, we can't exclude AI in, like in this generation. So, like identifying what I mentioned just now, like identifying like these users' potential behavior, what are their next game they will more likely to play and kind of thing. We definitely use AI also, and also some of the internal tools that we already have in our system. So it's like a combination of, modern technology and also our own like calculating system. Then we actually predict these users' potential and also their behavior, more likely to watch advertisement, more likely to pay for the game and kind of things. Yeah. So yeah, we use all these which are effective. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I have one more question for the Banu. So as a studio based in Indonesia, how do you balance growth investment with long-term ROI? And what strategies have been most effective in helping South Asian studios scale globally today?
Okay. So yeah. First, if we are talking about ROI, then we are talking about player quality, user quality, right? So what I found out that like you said, Victoria, content is the king right now, and we have to strive for quality. It adds content to the game itself, and it's a system. So you cannot separate the ads from the game itself. So the ads for to the acquisition, to the retention, down to the play is one big system. And so we have a unique experience when a lot of developers that I talked to said that Indonesia is a hard market because a hard market to monetize. So it's bulky. So there's a lot of players, but nobody is paying. So we basically doesn't have that problem in our game because we focus on the content and the system itself. Yeah. So but our problem with the game is how to shift it to worldwide audience, like you said. So what I found out that over the years that I use if you know that the Purple Cow book, Purple Cow by Seth Godin. So you have to stand out in the market. So you do that. So basically, in the mobile market right now, we are competing. I am competing with a lot of giants. So a lot of publisher with 100 million budget on ads, and I cannot possibly defeat it. It's like David versus Goliath fight, but David will never win the fight. So what I do, what I plan is, I'm focusing more on community and this pocket of small but available quality markets. So I identify a lot of players, maybe in abroad, maybe in Thailand, maybe in Philippines, in Brazil, people that love, that I know will love this kind of game that I have. And I work on that, and I identify the problem, what their pain point is, and I create the system from the ads down to the install to the buying for them. And so I will advise that for the studio, the game that will want to move on to the international market. And I will also, well, if we are talking about moving on to international market, then we are talking about what to choose between building something like culture neutral, like very standard looking, maybe like something that can be anywhere, can be like maybe zombies. Zombie can be zombie game can be anywhere, like, or medieval fantasy, that kind of thing, or doing something that really like distinctive visually, like culturally different, right? So what I found out is that like the purple cow, so you have to stand out. So my way of doing this is, you have to find a middle ground in that. So find something like a global proven mechanic of things, but add your own distinct flavor, like cultural or like very personal flavor for it, so that your game, your ads will pop up in the mind of certain individual. It doesn't have to be everybody, but you need just to have that loyal community and player base. So that's what it is for me. And for global also, like I told you earlier, that we did a lot of videos, we did a lot of content. And in Indonesia, since you mentioned Indonesia, and Indonesia especially in Southeast Asia and Asia in general, like in India, we are known for our affordable and but quality content creation, right? So yeah, so that's one thing that we have in Indonesia, and in India, in, yeah, Asia in general. So we have to maximize on that, because that's our unfair advantage, so to speak. So we have a lot of creative people. We can do a lot of creative work, creative content generation, rapidly, but quality. And we can identify a lot of our players like that. Just put it in the system, identify our players, and then work on that. And you have to be smart with your budget. So targeting everyone, targeting US, Europe market, just because they are just they have the highest ROI, doesn't work anymore. You have to really know your target. So yeah, uh, and you have to engage with community. You have to think about UGC, user generated content, like I told you earlier. You have to identify them and be smart, make them work, so to speak, like how to make them share your content, your game organically, reward those who make content for your game, that kind of thing. Yeah, consider that as a part of your ad. So yeah, uh, it's a shift in that direction, I think.
Yeah, that's a good That's a good point. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Banu. I really appreciate for that. That's because it's not easy, you know, like to go to the global market for nowadays. And as you said, like yes, you should find your users. You should find your market. Yes, that you can be like more organical. You can find your organical way, and then you put the creatives and etc. Yes, and you start your campaign or start your make some kind of build a system. Yeah, to grow in the community and etc. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, thank you very much, Banu. So, Pankaj, from a data perspective, not all growth is equal. And now every game can achieve scalable ROI. Based on what you're seeing, what separates games that successfully scale ROI from the struggle in today's environments?
Sure. Before that, I mean, thank you everyone. I mean, you gave me great insights and I think a lot of new information. I agree with you, Banu. I mean, the way that you have explained your journey. So, from social Peta's perspective, since we are more focused towards the creatives and the user acquisition, I mean, that will definitely going to support the 3 or the 7 eventually. So, creative fatigue is always there, and we always rely upon trends, and trends is all about time. I mean, there is no guarantee or there is no timeline for trends. They are keep on changing, and something that really worked well, I mean, a day before, probably for yourself or someone else, may not repeat the same kind of results for you. So depending the kind of game category that you're working on, I mean, do you really have to go organic maybe while you are in beta, maybe just 1 month before the actual launch? Based on the game category, again, I mean, you can start the unorganic campaigns using some organic content. I mean, we will never suggest people to do some creatives those are not aligned with your actual gameplay. I mean, that would be a disaster. I mean, that can lead to a good, I mean, acquisition, good number of installs, but on day 3 the picture would be uh, totally opposite. So just try to avoid all those situations. The second thing is lot of new indie developers. They are just, or they are mainly focused towards making money rather than uh, scaling the game for a long term basis. So that is one aspect, and this is where basically the creative plays a vital role. If it is a video, probably try to have multiple iteration in the production pipeline. Specifically, you are targeting to different audiences, different geos. Maybe the first 3 seconds of creative, don't, I mean, try to make iteration and keep the same CTA, because the end results will be the same. If you're using pictures, maybe that would work well once you have already launched the game, you have a user base, and probably you just have to do some messaging, some signals around the game. But for the narration, we would always suggest maybe a pre-approved model which is playable, that works well. Video works well, that will help you to engage with the customers for a longer time, because the starting 1 or 2 seconds, that is going to give you the more approval. And with any like 15 seconds or more creative, I mean, you have very less chance, very initial stage of the creative, which is gonna give you the approval. And you have all the time during the creative wherein you can get the disapproval. So just try to have those initial seconds with different iterations aligned with the actual message of the game, and that can definitely work for you. uh, from our perspective, we also use AI plus ML, but this is for the directions only. I mean, we can get many directions that can help you to get all the data uh, in your table for the decision making. That will be always yours. So based on your first party plus accumulation of some third party data, maybe you can have some more iterations towards getting the right message to the right audiences. So this is where social beta exists. We currently cover like billions of creatives. and all of this information can actually come back to your table in just few clicks. So rather than waiting for some trends to make money for others, and you wait for those trends to be noticed by yourself, I mean, maybe you can use some AI tools, and have your own iterations, so that you can compete in this very like fast changing world. So games are basically qualifying growth early. I mean, they are not chasing it. So just try to be a trendsetter rather than chasing it. So that's my call on this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's very interesting, especially that you said about for the first like 1 or 2 seconds, like every creative, so it should be some kind of hook, to attend of the users.
Yeah, the curiosity is actually one of the element that can help you engage with the user. And once you have that 3 or 4 seconds, there are chances that you can basically have that user on your side.
Yeah, is it works for the old channels? Do you think it's like one of the system, or it's like only for example, we knew it. This is actually working with the meta, but according to your experience, is it working for the old channels, or you have other experience of that?
Well, a bit. I mean, Meta. I mean, with Meta, you will have that liberty to probably place longer creatives. They basically support that. But some other channels, probably you need to have a creative for maybe less than 15 seconds. You have very less things to try out. Initially, few seconds maybe can be different than the previous versions that you have published. Uh, Beginning like from like 6 to 10 seconds, maybe you can have a good story narration, and towards the end, very clear CTA. I mean, that is gonna definitely help, because see, you are giving an approval that people are spending like 15 seconds, so there are chances that there is a curiosity, and the way you end or you take it to the CTA is the key. So there are less chances, like very risky in a 15-second creative. But again, when you are competing in the similar apps like some other platforms, those are giving you 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, chances are like after 30 seconds or more, I mean, if you are really like very small game, you do not have many mechanics to show, I mean, chances are that you would not have many interesting things to engage with the users.
Okay, thank you very much. I have one further opinions about the genre of the game. And according to our experience, it's like one of the genre of the game. It takes more than like 50 seconds. 50 seconds imagination. 50 seconds for one creative till 60. It's much better than 15. You understand? So 50 and 60. So one of the genre of the game right now take more working, more good results with this kind of duration. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's absolutely completely different. Yes, very long, very long. You see it very like gameplay about 1 minute. It's very interesting. I mean, it's about the genre of the game. Yeah.
The longer duration is also helpful for the UGC content. I mean, you will have influencer based content. I mean, that can gonna give you pre-approved audiences already, and then they have the liberty to show the gameplay, like the real gameplay, along with their own experience. So for the longer duration, I think those kind of formats are better. For the shorter term, I mean, you do not have much time to try out. I mean, that has to be like very precise, going aligned with the right audience and the right choices and the right element that you use, so that you ensure that yes, there will be a click to the app store.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much for this kind of conversation. So according to our like speech right now, we have some different kind of questions from our audience who listen to us. Yes. But firstly, I want to, answer our main question in our panel. So this is the question for everyone. You want to start how you feel. So the question is we discussed achieving the scalable ROI today requires a combination of strategy, creativity, data, and market understanding. if you could give just one actionable piece of advice to developers in mind for the scalable ROI in 2026, what it would be? Who want to start first? Please start first. Maybe Shri?
I was actually coming off mute, yes. So I will refer back to what I opened it on, right? I believe that marketeers should stop working on silos. Um, the UA team, the retargeting team, and the lifecycle team, I think all of them need to share the same data, the same creative learnings, and the same kind of a measurement framework, right? And like I already said, a UA team and a retention team, according to Razor data, when we've ran campaigns, which is both UA and retargeting retention combined, the LTV is 20% more. And a lot of deep research also says the teams that share the creative learnings across each other, they have a 30% more faster optimization cycle, right? And these are huge numbers. I think the math is very clear. I understand that there's a structural change that is required, but the teams that are able to live this are the people who are going to win. So I think this is a structural shift, but it's a very important shift.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, this makes sense for me actually too. When you will be like on the same way, like with the all together working like, and to share the data between the team, between the different kind of colleagues, different kind of teams, your acquisition teams, like marketing teams and production teams, etc. You have much more better results than if not. Yeah. So this is how it works. Yeah, for everybody. This is how it works actually. Our team working with the other teams, with our clients from the game market. Yeah, same point. Thank you very much, Shri.
You already
Maybe
have
thank you. So maybe Banu or Casper or have some kind of notes about this?
Okay, can I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, user acquisition is not finance anymore. So it's not about budgeting anymore. So, but it's a system you have to design it from end to end. And so it's a content loop architecture basically. And uh, well, except if you are one of the lucky 100 million giants, you don't have to fight that kind of giants. So you have to engineer this discovery of your apps. Basically, if I need to compile it into one, that will be it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Banu. Yeah, makes sense. Maybe Casper?
Yeah, I can go next. Yeah, so I think continuing from what I have shared just now. So I think like in 226 scalable like ROI would be like to stop optimizing users who are already proved their value, but start identifying these potential users like who will be more valuable in future. Yeah, so like traditionally like a lot of the UA strategy, they will focus on like known payers, those who have spent a lot of money and kind of things, and then and these are actually users who have proven their LTV already. But this might feel safe, but we have actually some problems arising from that. Like this pool of users are very limited. So you are actually fighting with a lot of your competitors for the same pool of users, and this might cost more and everything. And also this give limitation to your volume also. Yeah, so I think alternatively, we should actually be more focused on the real-time signals from all these users, like what I've shared just now, their engagement patterns, their genre exploration behavior, and also their session frequency time. So I think with this mindset, I think we can actually scale our ROI with a lower cost, and then with more conversion, more retention, and also more scale and volume. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's all from my side.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. This makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's a big deal, like to actually, according to the Discord community that you said, like you should fighting this, you should fight it for your users. Yes, you should fight it for the communities. You should understand behavior. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is how it works. Okay, and Pankaj, maybe you want to say something about this question.
Sure, I try to be. I mean, I would try to add some UA perspective to it. I mean, based on our own study, we have been observing that 9 out of 10 creatives do not work. I mean, so you have very thin chances for success, and there is no guarantee that you do everything that someone else has done and it will work for you. So rather than just retrying the luck, having some guesswork, better to have the early iteration. Just try to realize how soon you can actually iterate, and based on the early signals on like day one, day three, I mean, you can kill the weaker campaigns, and maybe you can invest more which is working well, so that can still give you some advantage to try towards, which can definitely work well for you. uh, and again, I mean, one bottom line that we always talk about, that do not convey a message in any sort of creative that doesn't align with your gameplay, because after all it will be a challenging situation for the live ops, because people have expectation for something else, and when they actually reach into the actual game they see a different experience, and there is a guarantee that that user will never come back to you if you have give them like this kind of experience. So just try to be realistic, use AI, ML, whatever you can, using inspirations from the top apps, top publishers is always advisable. Specifically if you are on the early stage, you are indie developers, you are just trying to uh, uh, save on some the marketing budgets. So yeah, have this kind of iteration, and be in a longer race for the success. That's all.
Yeah, thank you very much for this kind of advice. It's it's very helpful. So so what I want to say in this kind of question, according to our experience and the experience of a studio, like 10 years ago, so one of our clients have some misleads, like the period of the time, like before, till like 2022, and actually use like misleads, and misleads goes very good, very well, and have very good results. And then the users come to the games, and then yes, and then playing the games, and you have this kind of the retention. You have very nice, like very nice ROI, and etc measures. And what are the next like steps for this kind of company? And the next steps was after 2 years was like this kind of that actually banner you said, like this guy actually adds jumping to the mechanics to this game, and then the users, so yeah, this is the same, this is the same, this we're playing here right now. Yes, it's nothing changes, and then retention is much more comes, yes, more and more. And this is very nice, so this is one of the strategies. That's because the market changes, and then the company said, okay, so we add some mechanics, we do like this, we do some mini games inside, yes, input on the main game, and then it works. So you have never know what is like working better. So but we have a very cool experience behind us, and according to this you can make new strategy, follow it, change it, test it, experiments and makes, yes, and find your community and find your value with a lot of in scalable market, and find this kind of sustainability. So my opinion is this is the time to build a scalable creative system and test on it. Yeah, so find enough creative idea, test them fast, and learn what actually drives quality users, and then you have results. And I actually agree with Shri about, yes, you should be on the same wave. You should, like to spread it and to share the data to each other, and then you will be in success. Yes, and then you will be on the same wave, like all team together, and with the same wave, all with the users. This just makes sense, my opinion. Okay, thank you very much. It's very value information for actually from your side, for me, and for our student. And then and after like this panel, I just come with my team and we talk together about this very interesting information that we had today. So we have an interesting question from our audience. So the first one, so what I want to ask everyone can share this kind of thoughts. So do you guys think indie developers should focus on following trending game ideas for better market success, or take the risk of building something innovative and unique? Who wants to be the star?
Okay, I can go first, and this is
okay.
just with my experience.
You are the star first. Like
So,
it. Thank you very much.
So I'll speak about the India market. I believe it would be very similar for Asia as well. India is not like Banu said. People don't pay in India. Like that's a big problem. Like in Asia, I think to get people who pay on a gaming app is very difficult. Usually, it is always that the volume comes from Asia and the value comes from in US or EMEA or Japan and Korea because they're more used to the playing. Very interestingly, India is a very spiritual country also, right? So we had this inauguration of a big temple in India called Ram Mandir, okay? It's a god. It's huge for us. At that point in time, there was just two people, built an app around this spiritual thing, like around running around this temple, finding the god and things like that. And I think in 3 months, they actually raised about $6 million or more, right? So this is them taking the risk and being innovative when there was a chance, right? Now, I don't know if I feel it is also dependent on the risk you're taking and how sure are you of this risk. Like I wouldn't suggest taking the risk all by itself. Like know the market, know the data, and take the risk if you have the appetite to take the risk. But I have seen success, and this was a very huge success that I saw. I just wanted to, drop it on the table. Might be I'll let Banu and Kesper speak more because they are from the industry and they would be the better people to advise.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And so I want to say, I want to ask the question too, that because I think as I agree with the banner that you should find your users firstly, and always when you, for example, make something, it's always the risk. You never know. Yes, yeah, you have some kind of strategy, but you should test in it, and then you have result, and then testing again, etc. This makes sense. So this kind of experience you have, in production stage, and then okay. So it's of course it's risk. Of course you have you can do this without, like any project without the risk can do this. You should find the investment. You should find this kind of like to follow the goal, to change it, and etc. So I agree with you. I agree with Bano for the last question. If somebody wants to ask for this question too, please make it, and we go forward to the next question.
Okay. Can I add something to it also?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So on my experience, so yeah, like Shri is saying about the app, about the table, I think why it can blow up like it did is because of it's relatable, right? That temple is known, that temple is relatable, and that's why it blew up. So I think the correct question is it's not about what trending game idea or innovative and unique, because that's a trap question. I think. But what make your idea, your game, your app is relatable and pop up from your competitor? I think that's the better question about it. So because so here's why. So if you are following just the trending, then your game will drown in maybe 1,000 more games. And how do you compete with that, right? But if you are building something innovative and unique, if it's too unique, then you cannot find your target audience. Let's say that I'm making a game that if you press forward, you go backward. That's unique, right? That's unique, that's innovative, but nobody will understand your game because people are used to if they press forward, then you go forward. If you press back, then you go back. If you reverse that, or if you have to go like uh, co- make your controller upside down to play it or something, I don't know. If it's too unique, then you will fail to find your target market. You cannot find the relatability, and that will spell disaster for your game. So yeah, you should be careful about that. So you have to balance about uniqueness, what works, what's relatable, and uh, you have to know your market. Basically, that's my idea about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm actually agree with every one of this of our speakers. It's a lot of value, comes. So I want to follow the next question because we have two questions more, and everyone welcome to answer. So one of them: how should teams balance short-term ROAS versus long-term LTV? So maybe Bankai, you or Casper want to share some kind of, answer for this question, some kind of things, some kind of points. How should teams balance short-term ROAS versus long-term LTV?
Not our expertise, but since I've been asked, basically, I mean, continuation to like what Banu and Sri has just said. I mean, uh, trying out any new game and trying out anything which is never been tried. I mean, there is a direct relation to risk and reward. So something that has really worked, that has less risk associated. At the same time, the percentage of reward would be like very common. Whereas the chances for something that has never been tried would be a huge risk, but if it works, the reward would be like very huge. I mean, you will become a trendsetter. uh, for this question, I mean, how would you balance between the ROAS and long-term LTVs? I think from the operation perspective, I guess Casper or Banu would be the right person to answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Pandai.
Yeah,
Casper,
maybe
want to say? Mm-hmm.
jump in a bit over here. Yeah, because I have been, hearing, ROAS and LTV a lot actually from our advertisers, our game studios also. So like personally, in my own opinion, I feel that it shouldn't be a either or. It should be, work. I mean, we should have both of these, element inside, when you are working with advertising campaigns. And I think, at the advertiser point of view, I think they should more or less know, their game genre, because for some mid-core, hardcore games, for casual games, actually, their initial ROAS and also their long-term LTV, their standards are very different. So I think I would say like set, short-term targets and also long-term LTV targets too. But because some cohorts and some games, they might have strong ROAS initially, but they might have terrible LTV. But some, might be opposite. So I think like instead of like trying like, okay, this channel is not good, I will try another channel, but be more focused on a certain cohort that this channel actually generate. So we should actually optimize a certain cohort to bring them to have a high value LTV. So and and also like on what Victoria I think mentioned, at the very beginning about testing, like A/B testing and kind of thing. Yeah, I also think that advertisers, it's good to be more open to do this kind of testing so that we know, how the games actually react, to all the users, and how these users actually, like or don't like, or how they actually perform, when they are playing these kind of games. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. This makes sense. I mean, and you
And
never know when. Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I
So
just wanted to add on to what Casper said, because at Razer, because we're a DSP, this is something we do all the time. Just one thing that I'd like to add is LTV will tell you how your campaign is performing, and ROAS will tell you how your business is. ROAS will tell you how your campaign is performing, and LTV will tell you how your business is performing. So I think, just adding to what Casper said, you need to have pick a primary KPI that you want to work on in every phase of your campaign requirements, or your journey of the app, right? Initially, I think ROAS is important, but when you go in, I think you need to have a phased approach of LTV. So this is where your UA and your retention game comes in. So I just wanted to add on to what Casper said, that it goes hand in hand. It is not one or the other. It should be together, but in a phased manner. Both of them give you different intelligence about how your campaigns or business is performing. Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off, Victoria. Thank you so much.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So this is very, very nice. I mean, very nice thoughts. So what I think that's should we find the balance? This is the question. Should we find it? Should we need it? Yeah. So some kind of channel that's actually Casper told that sometimes it's you have a very nice roles, but very bad, long-term LTV. Yeah. So sometimes it's like this because the channels, or for example, this because the genre of the game. Yeah, so this is the main question. Should we find, should we need this kind of balance? Maybe, like we have different kind of challenges, and this kind of, when we spread it with different kind of channels, we have this kind of balance. Yes. Maybe that makes sense. Okay, so the last one, thank you very much for answering this kind of very interesting questions. And the last one, and we have huge, like text of it. So if you integrate AI, like AI bot, for example, which interact with user what to do or how the game progress. So if anyone has some kind of experience like this, who have analytics on this, or any examples, application available on Play Store or Apple Store, that can be explored. So the main question is, should we integrate AI, like AI bots, with the users, what to do or how to the game progress? So this is the main question is, do you have some kind of experience that you can recommend, for our audience? Who wanted to start? Welcome. Do you understand my question? Yes or not?
I don't have any experience in that, so I cannot say anything about it because that's outside of my experience. Maybe the other have something to do with it.
For my opinion, I think it will be like, maybe it will be like near future, we don't have any experience of that too. Like we not integrating AI, like I don't have any, like some kind of clients that we actually integrate AI. But I think it's near future in this kind of case, in 2026. So this is my opinion. And maybe we have some kind of very cool, like AI that's, it will be like, like human. And then it will be, which interact with the users, and the users, it will be, like organic flow with the users, and you see how the game progress. Yes, after this, because the data comes from this kind of tools. Yes, that's my opinion. Maybe Casper, you have this kind of experience, or Pankai.
Maybe just adding some a little bit of information. Like for my experience, like maybe I'm not answering that question directly, but actually we do see, because we work with a lot of like game developers. So beside the the normal games that actually are running advertising campaigns in our platform, we actually see a increasing trend that a lot of like AI chatting application are actually running this kind of like advertising campaigns, and they are actually gaining a lot of like popularity and a lot of like revenue and retention from their advertising campaigns. So so I think AI chat, AI bot and kind of things, I think is like gradually like taking over the application industry and kind of thing. And a lot of gamers are actually, they play games, but they are also into this kind of AI chattings also, especially in regions that Playo covers, like Korea, Japan, Taiwan. Yeah.
So my question is for the Casper. Casper, are you using some kind of AI tools, in your work? I mean, like when you, for example, to share the data for the games, for the game studio. Yeah.
Do we use like AI bot
Yes.
or what? Yeah,
Yeah. AI bot or AI tools or AI technology, or you make some kind of AI assistant, so this
okay.
kind of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So definitely for like data analytics, right? Our backend team use AI, and like for our application, right, we actually use AI to analyze the data. I mean the users' behavior. So actually we will know the users, like this week what kind of genre they play. So we know their interest, so that we actually push similar genre kind of games to these players, so to engage them better, and also to ensure that they are actually quality users that actually like these kind of games. So our application are actually using AI also. Yeah, and then for like daily work, I do use AI, a lot. Like I'm not very sure. I mean like ChatGPT, and also like Gemini, Google Gemini, and kind of things. Yeah, we do a lot of these kind of things to help us in analyzing, and to any questions about yeah. So yeah, we use it every day and also on our application.
Yeah. Okay. So this very interesting. I mean, like, so, but what about for example, AI? Do you think AI is, for now, make some kind of very nice data? I mean, like, how much percentage will be true? How much percent it will be not true? So this is like, for my opinion, you should be, like every time you should be a little bit with a critic mind, to be on this, to understand, okay, this is true, this is not true, this kind of bullshit, and etc. Yeah. How do you think, Casper?
I think for now, currently, it's not like 100% reliable or 100% dependent on AI. I think I think AI is like a assistance, to help us continue our research, continue to build our data and findings. Yeah, I think for now it's still like, I think I would say 50-50. Like we can't live without AI, but we might need their help to give us some innovation, innovative ideas, some insights and everything. But at the end of the day, before we present this data, we should do some cross checking, cross reference, and also with our own knowledge of own knowledge and own insights of that market. Yeah, then we can actually come up with the final outcome, final report and everything. Yeah, so I think it's still a half for now, but I think definitely past 10 years or 5 years even, I think AI will have more dominant with all these analytics of the data. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, this makes sense. I actually agree with you. 50%. This makes sense. So what do you have in the final? So I think everybody, find your best formula in 2026. And according to our, total speech, I want to say, so please keep it, please make some kind of strategy. Yeah, so this is my advice for everybody. Make your strategy, make your system of the production creatives of the system, and to pay attention, to share the data between the all teams, between user acquisition teams, between the marketing teams, between the production teams. Use the data from the AI tools. Use the AI tools in your data. It's very important. You can you can shift hours hours and hours works, yes, it will be faster. Be faster. Make quality creatives. Use different kind of channel and find your community and find your users, like said Bano and said actually Bankai. Okay, so thank you very much for everybody. Thank you very much to share the formula of growth marketing, for games in 2026. And I hope everybody finds your users and find your attention and make some kind of big deal in this year.